Okay, we're going to do a tutorial on how to use Google Drawings to sketch, product sketch. And in this case, we're going to start by tracing over an existing car of your choosing. And I'm going to choose this Porsche 917K. Very cool classic car. I have a great video that goes along with this. But classic Porsche race car. In this case, I've already opened this up, right click, open it up and do a new tab, and got the full size image here. I'm going to copy the image. Uh, if you don't already have your Google Drive open, please do open up your Google Drive, and we're going to go create a new um, Google Drawing. So we have to go to More, go to Google Drawing. I'm going to title this one 917K. Okay, and then I'm going to put my name on it. Always put your names on it. So I'll start with my name. I put in J Field, dash, dash, 917K. When you're working in these Google Drawing environments, it's important that you do this. Is you kind of want to drag the corner of your canvas out more. It certainly wouldn't hurt to also just maximize your window space for sketching. So I'm going to paste my Porsche in right now, Control V, since I already had it copied. And I'm going to go ahead and click on it twice to crop. If you can kind of see, it gives you a little crop option here for the image. And that misclicked it a little bit. It's one of these things where you can misclick that one. All right, I'm going to crop the end off a little bit and the front. Now I should be able to get an even bigger image. The next thing I want to do is, in doing this exercise, by the way, you're going to learn about the design of cars. You're going to learn how to sketch them. And I've always taught that the most important thing here is we learn curve and polyline. These are the two things I would focus on using for this, and this I'll show you how to use it. But I start by highlighting the image, formatting it, go to adjustments, and I bring the opacity down nice and light so I can see over top of it, but still see the details of the curvature. And so I go to that tool I told you about. So the arrow next to the line tool, you can hit curve. Curve is real similar in Google Drawing as it is in Onshape to the spline tool that we use to create 3D. You have to learn to click these nodes. You see I'm dropping points for this curve, and I'm dropping them in very defined locations. I'm going to go ahead and go up and zoom in, and I may have to zoom in even more. I'm going to go to 300%. That's it. Scroll over here. You guys will want to do the same thing when you're doing this. So I'm dropping these points like this. You can see I'm doing a pretty good job of covering, getting the points that I want. And don't try and do too much. I'm going to double click to end right there. And then I'm going to hit, I'm going to come up here and actually just kind of click off. So I'll hit the arrow tool. And then I'm going to double click it, because I can get in here, you can see, and adjust these to just the right curvature. There we go. There we go. If I had taken that up further, I could have done that windshield. That's perfect. I can move these points. I think it may just be, that's a little better right there. I don't know if I'll be able to tuck in on the nose. There it is. I just had to move that. There. I got a perfect line for the front of this Porsche. These things are just absolute monsters, like a 900 horsepower motor with almost no weight. And you sit in here real tight and your feet are basically up here. Not real safe either, but it's a cool car. So that's a good example of that curve. I would probably just keep going here. Why not show you a couple more? And I'm going to scroll over. It's got a pretty cool cut line there. The back window. I'm going to put a point right there. And I wonder if I put another point right here. Yeah, maybe. There's a shot. I'm going to drop one right here for that curve. And maybe one right there. I'm pretty good at this just from practice, and this will be something I'm really hoping you guys can get good at too. I'm going to double click to end that one. This might be a good time to just stop for a second and show you the Polyline tool. And a lot of shapes and whatnot can be done easier with the Polyline tool. And I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of that. I'm just going to do, I'm going to actually kind of cut this corner here in short segments. That's actually much better done with a curve tool, but just for the purposes of showing you this Polyline tool, I'm going to go ahead and just do that. Okay. Then if I come back to right there, and that's where I started, double click, you'll see it shades that whole shape. Okay. There's cool options that you can do with that shape. You can get gradient on it. You can play with different types of gradient or just different types of color. And or take the go solid here and take that background out altogether. In this case, just to outline it. You can change the weight of lines, by the way, and that comes in handy for a lot of shapes. For example, that's Control Z on my keyboard. I just did an undo. That's your back arrow here. For example, I could do these suspension members as one single line. So over here where we're picking curve and polyline, I could go up to just line tool and put a line in, and then come to my pick tool there. Whoop. Control Z there. Sometimes you'll move your canvas unintentionally or your background image, and if you do that, just hit undo or Control Z. So here I can go ahead and put the thicker line. You see it makes it like a suspension piece there. And you can't get a gradient, but you can change to gray. That might be one quick option to do in this case. The wheels, which of course I love, but in this exercise, what I'm really aiming for you guys to do is to eventually make this image go away so that you can see only your image over top. So let me do a few more curves then, therefore. I like you to detail everything that needs a cut line. So I'm going to double click to end that spline right there. And I'm going to keep going with this spline tool. I'm going to go double click right there. It looks like it has to double click right there. It's kind of a line that goes along the top of the window, so I'll stop right there. That had a line going down like the door there, so double click there. I'm going to do a 2-point turn on that, and it didn't quite make it, so I'm going to hit actually Control Z. There we go. Control Z. Do it. All right. Purple again. I got to re-click. Oh, re-click it. This one maybe 1 point only. I'll probably go in and fix all of these in a second. Door. Um, Some of you, like me, will just get lost and have a great time on this and go all day on it. And that's good. And that may mean if you are doing that, that you're the perfect designer or architect, someone who does do this kind of work all day long. It's a great fit, great job for a lot of us. I can go in here and add the curvature for this giant light, since that's kind of like a telltale of this Porsche. Um, all right, so I've got a lot of great detail in. Let me add a belt line here. Sill, it's often called the sill of the car right there. I'm going to end that one. Now, here's a good moment for me to just kind of go back in here and see if I can even get a show. I don't think I can get what I wanted out of that sketch right there. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the delete button and do that again, okay? So this, let's do this wheel well. I'm had to put a few more points to get a curve like this than normal. Uh, it always generally the fewer points, the better. Always, it'll look better, and it'll be when we get to the 3D modeling part, it will be less likely to cause issues when it's a simple spline or curve with the fewest amount of points. Mm-mm. I'm going to zoom out here back a little bit and look at what we got. And so now what I was going to mention, how you know you've done a good job, is that you are able to take the image out completely and see the car underneath. Um, Before I close and end this tutorial, let me point out that you can obviously add cool images over tops, and these automatic shapes are nice. So this tire, for example, I can put a circle, an adjustable circle in here, and I would probably want to make it even a little bigger, because what I'll show you is they make better wheels and headlights and things like that. You can make the thickness of the outside, you increase that, and you can make it change its color and make it transparent. That's another thing we can do here. So, and I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard for fine tuning. Um, that often is helpful. Um, so there you go. That's my tutorial to help get you started on this. And I'll just, for kicks, show you a different one that I did here a couple years ago. It's a Toyota Tundra, or a Tacoma. It's the latest model. It was my effort at a new model. So I put the original, or the current model, on the background and drew over top of it. And most of these are the polyline segments. So I could grab any one of these and pull it off here for show you for a second. So I could shade it, lights on top, mediums on the bottom, darks along the bottom, so it's always a 3 shade gradient to get something to look 3 dimensional. But all those were just made. I think that took me about 2 or 3 hours to do this one. It was a lot of fun, actually. So alternatively, you can get a lot of detail done on these and redesign the car entirely. That's another step to this project. And that's enough for right now to get you started. Have fun.